Brewing ale was a major winter task for early Germanic households. Cold weather stabilized fermentation and lowered the risk of spoilage. Archaeology beneath the major road in Cambridgeshire, A14, shows various brewing residues. Barley, oats, and sometimes honey points to a range of grain drinks depending on the region and season. These findings line up with the seasonal shift from outdoor field work to indoor jobs once the harvest was stored by late autumn. Ale was part of daily consumption. Old English sources such as Beowulf and Scandinavian texts such as Havamal in the Poetic Edda describe it as a staple drink tied to meals, labor, and hospitality. Grain stores set how much could be brewed for each winter. Households planned their batches alongside other winter preparations, such as butchering and storing meat. Brewing also used grain that wouldn't keep well through winter, turning it into a safer, long-lasting drink. Winter brewing carried social weight. People shared ale during gatherings, agreements, and seasonal meetings. Later Norse accounts, including saga descriptions of gravul and arvul, and the reconstructed Old English term Yrf shows that it was used in feasts, oath-taking, and major community events. Details vary by region, but the pattern holds across them. Ale supplied calories, preserved grain, and supported social ties through the darker months. Subscribe for more Anglo-Saxon and Germanic trivia and facts. Once upon a time, a little star in the sky grew curious about the world below. As it drifted across the lands, it heard the beautiful sounds of a nearby village and longed to be near it. The star asked the others for permission to live near the village. They agreed, on the condition that it would not disturb the people living there. The little star found a safe spot inside of a cottonwood tree, where it would quietly watch and listen to the life of the village. From that night on, the little star stayed in the cottonwood, a hidden spark among the branches, bridging the earth and the sky. Stories like this one are a part of Dakota oral tradition. They teach about the natural world, the seasons, and the connections between earth, wind, and sky. By remembering these stories, we honor the culture and creativity of those who passed them down. This story is reflected in the real world. Cottonwood twigs have a natural feature that may have inspired it. If you break a twig at the right spot, near a bud scar, the cross-section often forms a 5-pointed star pattern, a tiny star hidden in the tree itself. Now, not every twig will show a perfect star, but this could have been the imagination behind the tale. Stories like this one combine observation, symbolism, and storytelling. They help people understand the world while honoring cultural wisdom. If you want to hear the full original version, I encourage you to check out Mary Louise Defender Wilson's My Relatives Say. Until the next one, folks, stay awesome and share the knowledge. Imagine being an Anglo-Saxon or Scandinavian facing winters so harsh that your survival depended on reading the seasonal signs. Well, Germanic and Nordic people did just that. They planned work and celebrations around how severe the weather was, paying close attention to storms to prepare their households. According to the University of Texas at Austin's Linguistics Research Center, an Anglo-Saxon dictionary, the Old English word winter-yeurope means a violent winter snow or hailstorm. This word shows that people kept an eye on seasonal extremes and understood the risk of violent winter weather. Norse texts show similar cultural concerns. In the Prose Edda, a line describing Fimbul winter says, "Snow shall drive all from quarters. Frost will be great then. Winds sharp." This shows how dangerous weather really concerned people, and they took it very seriously. To prepare for winter, Anglo-Saxon peoples had seasonal chores. They made repairs, preserved food, and sheltered animals based on these prognostic omens. Even without today's modern forecasts, medieval observation of the weather helped villages and communities get through winter. These texts and oral traditions reinforced the dangers of the seasons and taught people what needed to be done to survive. Weather-related prognostics, a form of predicting weather patterns, and seasonal signs were passed down through generations. This created what was essentially an almanac for surviving winter in medieval Anglo-Saxon regions and further north. These omens and forecasts help with seasonal planning and community decisions throughout the cold months, helping people make it through harsh winters safely. What did Germanic and Scandinavian people do to survive and celebrate the darkest time of the year? Yule, Old Norse, Yule, and Old English, Yule. But what is Yule? It's a festival typically celebrated around the winter solstice, originating from ancient Norse and Germanic traditions. It is a pagan festival centered on food, remembrance, and celebrating the shortest day and longest night of the year. In Northern Europe, the sun sets much earlier and the winter nights are dangerous. People would often decorate their homes with evergreen branches and trees. It was believed this was a simple way to brighten the home. Fires burned in hearths and bonfires glowed, creating a cheerful atmosphere in contrast to the bitterness outside. Food and family were central to the winter festivities. People used their harvest stores for their celebrations. Preserved meats, grains, root vegetables, and libations such as brewed ciders, ales, and mead were a part of winter feasts that lasted late into the eve. Alongside feasting, gift-giving was also a part of ancient Yule celebrations. These may have involved tokens, trinkets, or symbolic items. According to historian Nick Page in Christmas Traditions, Truth and Total Baubles, Yule merged with Christmas during the Christianization of the Germanic peoples. It was believed to be influenced by Roman Saturnalia and later merged with Christian celebrations. Long before that, though, Yule was a time to honor ancestors in the cycle of the year. Offering, toast, and lineage were important parts of these winter traditions. Finally, the solstice was a beacon of light and hope. While the cold and dark of the night lingered on, and spring seemed so far away, it was a reminder that the return of said light would return anew and bright. Many of these practices did not disappear, and many more of these festive elements survive today and appear in modern Christmas and contemporary Yule celebrations. Ancient winter gift-giving festivities were a little different from their modern counterparts. Running around at the last minute to the local Target in Winter Villa Mall to get Uncle Vernon's Argyle socks weren't even considerations of Bronze Age Germanic and Scandinavian communities. However, exchanging gifts were a part of social life. Saga literature has several examples of gift exchanging which maintained alliances and proved status and loyalty. Winter gatherings and festivities were believed to include these gift-giving celebrations. We see this with an Icelandic tale, Egil's Saga, which describes Egil receiving a robe and clothing while others in attendance also received Yuletide gifts. Other sagas like the King's Saga and the Tale of Arun of the West Fords often included items like clothing, weapons, and even a polar bear. Of course, these were myths and stories, but we can take from this that daily life mirrored similar festivities, sans polar bears probably. This said, evidence for giving basic food or survival tools is limited, and most recorded gifts were valuable items. According to scholarly studies of Norse social norms like Judith Jess and Aaron Gurovich, and saga evidence, chieftains and household heads were praised among their peers and villages for giving back. Meanwhile, being stingy and miserly could very well harm the reputation of these leaders. Gift-giving established expectations for generosity for both noble and peasantry. As Christianity spread through Northern Europe, the spirit of giving remained, even if the pagan context shifted. This said, Christianity did not entirely wipe out these practices. Some of these customs remained and were integrated into Christmas celebrations. Our Christmas gift practices today are a mix of tradition and folklore of the past. For example, Roman Saturnalia, where people exchanged gifts at the end of the year, the old heathen Yule and solstice festivals, medieval Christian traditions, and St. Nicholas and Santa Claus, who climbs down chimneys every Christmas to leave gifts for every boy and girl. So, as Christmas approaches in a few days, remember that this tradition goes back centuries, connecting us to Germanic and Scandinavian peoples. Remember the winter feasts and festivities which help people survive and celebrate the darkest time of the year. January 1st wasn't always the new year for everyone. It's believed that Babylonians had Akitu. This was a celebration held in the spring after the vernal equinox. As for the Romans, they originally started their year sometime around March. Meanwhile, other cultures celebrated lunar cycles and solstices. The birth of our modern New Year started with Julius Caesar. In 45 BCE, he reformed the Roman calendar after trying a lunar cycle which failed, then hired the aid of an Alexandrian astronomer who suggested that he instead follow the solar year, added leap years, and officially set January 1st as the start of the new year. The day is believed to honor Janus, a two-faced god who looks back to the past and forward to the future. Romans celebrated the year with offerings, sacrifices, and gatherings. Basically, a rockin' New Year's party without Dick Clark present. As for the rest of Europe, they adopted this system slowly. Some regions kept local calendars and still do to this day. Feasts, bonfire, toast with friends and family, resolutions, and celebrations with music and drink became the focus of festivities. In East Asia, they celebrate a different calendar entirely. Chinese New Year, or Lunar New Year, depending on the country, usually is held late January or early February, depending on the lunar cycle. It is a festival which celebrates family and ancestors. Cleaning homes and putting up decorations around the house, as well as lighting off fireworks, are all important aspects of the holiday. San Francisco even holds a Chinese New Year parade every year by the Chinese community. Across the world, New Year celebrations might look a little different, but the idea of a fresh start connects them. And that brings us to one of the most famous modern traditions, the Times Square ball drop in New York City. The Times Square official site explains that it was first held on 1907, and the original ball was iron and wood with over 100 glowing bulbs. Over time, this did change, and it became a crystal-covered sphere, which, according to NBC New York, you can even take home a crystal from previous Times Square New Year Eve balls if you're lucky enough. The festivities include thousands of lights, music performances, and massive crowds, all excited to count down the seconds to the new year together. So tonight, whether you're watching the ball drop, enjoying the festivities with your family, or yeeting your calendar out the door, yes, that used to be a thing in San Francisco's financial district, you're taking part in thousands of years of tradition. From my stable to yours, I wish you a happy new year.